Hi there, my name is Mr. Pete. I am a fourth grade teacher, and I am currently reading Louis Sachar's Holes. We are about to start chapter 41. We're heading down the home stretch here, and Stanley realized that as he headed up that mountain, carrying Zero wasn't that easy to do. And he was pretty surprised that he was able to do it. So as we jump into 41, we have to find out, will Zero continue to get better, and what happens next? Should be making predictions because who knows what's next. For those of you in my classroom, setting at the top, will we go back and visit the past, or are we straight in the present? Here we go. Chapter 41. Zero's condition continued to improve. Stanley slowly peeled an onion. He liked eating them one layer at a time. I want you to highlight that. The onion here is about to become a metaphor for the story and for their lives, because we're going to talk about that onion being layers, but we're also going to talk about all of the different layers of the story. And some of it we don't know yet, so really pay attention, because here we go. The water hole was now almost as large as the holes he had dug back at Camp Green Lake. It contained almost 2 feet of murky water. Stanley had dug it all himself. Zero had offered to help, but Stanley thought it better for Zero to save his strength. It was a lot harder to dig in water than it was in a dry lake. Stanley was surprised that he himself hadn't gotten sick, either from the sploosh, the dirty water, or from living on onions. He used to get sick quite a lot back at home. Both boys were barefoot. They had washed their socks. All their clothes were very dirty, but their socks were definitely the worst. They didn't dip their socks into the hole, afraid to contaminate the water. Instead, they filled the jars and poured the water over their dirty socks. Highlight contaminate. Contaminate is a vocabulary word. It means to get dirty. Contaminate means you're putting something into it that doesn't belong. I didn't go to the homeless shelter very often, Zero said. Just if the weather was really bad. I'd have to find someone to pretend to be my mom. If I'd just gone by myself, they would have asked me a bunch of questions. If they'd found out I didn't have a mom, they would have made me a ward of the state. Highlight that. It was mentioned before when Mr. Pendanski, the warden, and Mr. Sir were talking about Zero. A ward of the state means basically you're a child of the state. Instead of having parents, your parents are the people who run the state. He didn't really want to be in that situation. He didn't want to mess around with it. He would rather just be on his own. What's a ward of the state? Zero smiled. I don't know, but I didn't like the sound of it. Stanley remembered Mr. Pendanski telling the warden that Zero was a ward of the state. He wondered if Zero knew he'd become one. I liked sleeping outside, said Zero. I used to pretend I was a Cub Scout. I always wanted to be a Cub Scout. I'd see them at the park in their blue uniforms. I was never a Cub Scout, said Stanley. I wasn't good at social stuff like that. Kids made fun of me because I was fat. I like the blue uniforms, said Zero. Maybe I wouldn't have liked being a Cub Scout. Stanley shrugged one shoulder. My mother was once a Girl Scout, said Zero. I thought you said you didn't have a mother. Everybody has to have a mother. Well, yeah, I know that. She said she once won a prize for selling the most Girl Scout cookies, said Zero. She was real proud of that. Stanley peeled off another layer of his onion. So Stanley slowly uncovering more and more about Zero. So layer 1, he finds out about him trying not to be a ward of the state and how he would go to these homeless shelters, and a little bit about his mother. All right, mostly about his mother. That's why we can go ahead and peel off, and let's go to see another layer. We always took what we needed, Zero said. When I was little, I didn't even know it was stealing. I don't remember when I found out, but we just took what we needed, never more. So when I saw the shoes on display at the shelter, I just reached in the glass case and took them. Clyde Livingston shoes?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Asked Stanley. I didn't know they were his. I just thought they were somebody's old shoes. It was better to take someone's old shoes, I thought, than steal a pair of new ones. I didn't know they were famous. There was a sign, but of course I couldn't read it. Then the next thing I know, everybody's making this big deal about how the shoes are missing. It was kind of funny in a way. The whole place is going crazy. There I was, wearing the shoes, and everyone's running around saying, "What happened to the shoes? The shoes are gone." I just walked out the door. No one noticed me. When I got outside, I ran around the corner and immediately took off the shoes. I put them on top of a parked car. I remember, they smelled really bad. Zero stole Clyde Livingston's shoes. Walked right out and was so scared of getting caught, he set them on top of a car. "Yeah, those were them," said Stanley. "Did they fit you?" "Pretty much." Stanley remembered being surprised at Clyde Livingston's small shoe size. Stanley's shoes were bigger. Clyde Livingston had small, quick feet. Stanley's feet were big and slow. "I should have just kept them," said Zero. "I'd already made it out of the shelter and everything. I ended up getting arrested the next day when I tried to walk out of a shoe store with a new pair of sneakers. If I had just kept those old smelly sneakers, then neither of us would be here right now." And we're going to stop right there. Nice short chapter, but with a big, big surprise. Zero stole Clyde Livingston's shoes, put them on a car, and when that car drove away, the shoes flew off over an overpass and right in front of Stanley, who got caught and put in jail. Thank you so much to all of you that are listening. If you're not in my class, please make sure you click that like button. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Click any of the links that you see down below. You can check out the playlist for this if you have missed some of the other chapters, or you can find out my latest video. All right, thank you so much, and I will see you on the next page. Peace.